Hello everybody, Ultimate Player on the scene here, and I want to talk about a comic on Webtoon that I have been reading with one of my friends, Captain Games. He actually introduced this to me. I've been reading this with him, and this comic is called The Warrior Returns. Now, The Warrior Returns is a comic about a kid who apparently was allegedly supposed to save the world, and he did save the world. But apparently, he literally, from what I understand, from what I get, he got rejected by everybody. Like his parents died. His parents died, was led to him being manipulated, and him feeling like that he is not getting what he deserves. Now, of course, I have some. Of course, for me, there's also an update video. Just to show you guys how well I'm doing. I'm actually doing just fine. This is my last year at NET, so at NET, or the school I go to. So yeah, I'm not gonna let you guys know what NET means. NET means I'll let you guys figure that out on your own. People that know, they know. Anyways, this is about The Warrior Returns. Now, The Warrior Returns is a literal. Now, in The Warrior Returns, there seems to be literally tons of warriors, like just everywhere. But we're gonna start from the beginning. Apparently, there's this sword warrior. Now, the sword warrior is like the person who actually got manipulated by the reincarnation warrior and stuff like that. Now, of course, here's the question I want. And of course, for people that have read the comic, they probably know what I'm talking about. They probably know what I'm talking about. They probably be like, oh yeah, we get it. We've heard, we read the comic or whatever. And the reincarnation warrior, they actually claim that he cannot die. Well, he can die, but every time that he dies, he just rewinds time, and then it's like nothing happened. Or at least that's what one of my friends told me. RK9. Now, here's the thing. My question is, can RK9 actually stop the reincarnation warrior? Now, let me give you guys a recap on who RK9 is.
Hey, Malachi. Oh.
Yes?
I wanted to know if you still had that Among Us Discord server.
I do.
Because I wanted to know if you wanted to play later.
Huh?
I wanted to know if you wanted to play later.
I have a Among Us server that we can use.
Okay, well, I'm gonna come back later when you're not recording.
Okay. Now let me give you guys a recap on who this guy is. RK9 is a character that I personally made. And no, he is not based off of the And before people ask, no, he is not based off of the Pokemon. Okay, and plus, it's not like I'm talking about Pokemon, okay? I'm not talking about Pokemon. But yeah. His name is RK9, but he's nothing like the Pokemon. Like the Pokemon and this RK9 is very different. If it was my RK9 versus the
Grandma said if you want this chicken, you can heat it up and eat it later.
If my RK9 and this RK9 were to ever throw hands, or like, if it was the Pokemon of RK9 versus this RK9, my RK9 would win. And I know I'm not just gonna use like the whole reason of, oh, he would win because he's my character. No. That's not why he would win. RK9, my RK9 would win over the Pokemon because, well, first of all, Pokemon are kind of weak. It's pretty easy to overpower a Pokemon. It's not like, oh, like if you're making a character, it's pretty easy to overpower a Pokemon. A Pokemon, you know, it's a Pokemon. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with it? You know what I mean? Like, it's Pokemon. What do you want? It's Pokemon. It's literally Pokemon. Also, this is new. It's literally Pokemon. It's like, it's not like I'm like, oh, it's like, his name is RK9. What type is he? He's a grass type. They weren't talking about Pokemon. Anyway, I'm sorry. That just made me look stupid. But here's the thing. Let me recap you on who RK9 is, and let me give you an update of what I made changes on the character, whatever. RK9 now has a whole childhood. He has a whole childhood. It still doesn't involve his parents. His parents are still dead. But he has like a whole thing. He has like a whole childhood now. He has like a whole story that he can, that, you know, that is ridiculous. He has a whole story and everything. Hold up, I'm gonna pause the video and I'm actually gonna go ahead and put this on a separate plate while I heat this up. I'll actually come back. Hang on. Okay, guys, I'm back. I had to pause the video because I had to heat up my food. Oh, I'm about to have some fun with this, but I'm getting a little bit off track here. Crap! I forgot hot sauce. Hang on. Okay. I have my food now, and Jesus Christ, this looks good. Anyways, my recap on who RK9 is. RK9 is a character I made, and no, he's not based off of the Pokemon, alright? I'm not talking about Pokemon! Anyways, RK9 is a character that was a kid that was born in the zombie apocalypse. And, unknown to them, the changes I made is a change in his backstory. He's actually half alien, but he was born on Earth. Now, how was he born on Earth? It's because one fully adult female, adult alien female, actually escaped her planet's destruction. And she escaped to Earth. And she was trying to hide, you know, she was like, you know, I don't really want to interact with humans because, well, they're humans. What did you expect? If she were to interact with humans, she'd, like, get into a lot of fights or whatever. So she tried her best to, like, lose the least amount of interaction possible. But then, later on, inevitably, she actually fell in love with a guy. The guy was obviously human, so, you know, it's not like he had, like, super strength or anything like that. But he was a super sweet guy. Like, he saw the girl and how much she was scared, so he walked over and then, like, started talking to her, and over time, they both grow a like, romantic relationship. Like, they both get together, and then that was the creation of RK9. But the thing is that by the time that happened, the first zombie outburst struck, and then the city that he was living in, RK9's new family was living in, was RK9 family was living in after RK9 was born. Turned into like a death trap. Like, it turns quickly, It started with one zombie, then it quickly spread after one human was bit, and then it was just turning into a zombie apocalypse. Um, so yeah, but there's more. His mother wanted to save his life, RK9's life. So, so, um, so what she did before she, passed away, died, whatever. She she rounded up a group of survivors and said, no matter what happens, protect this kid. Like, and well, actually, no, that's not all the changes I made. He actually has siblings, but they were split up so that the zombies couldn't get to him. And the thing is that RK9, she said, is that she didn't tell them that she set a course for a different planet. Like, she knew that she knew the planet that she was sending them to worked a lot like Earth. Like, she knew that the atmosphere and everything, they were going to be able to breathe, whatever. So yeah. But yeah, she was like, get in this spaceship, and no matter what happens, don't let my kid die. Like, that kids die. Like, that's what she said. And then she went off and fought, like, was fighting zombies, and while she was fighting zombies, the spaceship took off, and they left her. And the survivors, along with RK9 and his siblings, they all left Earth. So RK9 grew up never knowing who his mom was. And RK9, he is also extremely but about a year later, RK9 and his siblings were actually sent to a planet, to not the planet Yardrat, but it was pretty darn close. And it was pretty darn close. Like, it wasn't like the exact design of Yardrat from Dragon Ball Z. It was pretty darn close though. Like, this planet actually looked pretty close to Yardrat. And what happened is that the people of Yardrat makes this planet very, very different, because what the planet that he was sent to, it worked. The planet itself worked a lot like Earth. Like, that didn't change, but it was like there was pink grass, there was a green sky, and also there was trees and everything, so everything was stable. There was like trees and whatnot, all different types of stuff, honestly, and what's happening here is that RK9 is that when RK9 arrives on this planet, RK9, he looks around and he's obviously very confused, because his mother was because believe it or not, he is the only male Exion that actually exists. Like, everything else after that, because every other Exion that exists after that is ladies. Like, he's the only male Exion that exists, and he's able to, and all the female Exions, they were very they were all very surprised at RK9's new look. that RK9 was the first male Exion to ever be born. Um, and he's the first male one, but he may only be the first and only male one that exists. For this current story at least. And RK9, at a very young age, once he became about 6-7 years old, he was not only extremely powerful, but he was as powerful as Goku was in base form. Like, he was as powerful as that. And we're talking about, like, before, like, Goku knew about, like, King Cold, or not King Cold, King Kai or anything like that. This was before that. So yeah, he's as powerful as Goku was in base form before he got the training from King Kai. Um, as a 6 or 7 year old. So RK9 has immense amounts of strength at this point, and RK9 is just gonna keep climbing higher, climbing higher. Like base form Goku, he's good, but let me tell you this right now. RK9, he was RK9. He got very curious. He started to like wonder, like what about my mom? Where is my mother? And RK9, and since he was like 6 or 7, they decided to explain to him that his mother may or may not be alive. So after hearing that, it's obvious that RK9 got a little bit upset. But then RK9, despite his mother, the information of his mother being dead, RK9 says, "I'm going to save my mom." And when he says that, the Exion looks over and says that it's too late, but RK9 doesn't believe her. And the reason why is because he knew he was right. He knew he was right, but nobody else did. So, oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm just really having an eating moment. I'm sorry. I'm just really hungry right now. RK9 knew he was right, but everybody else thought he was wrong. Um, and here's the thing: before going back to Earth, RK9 actually continues his training. Except he continues his training under somebody named Katie, under Katie, another Exion. But like I said, RK. This is at this point mostly just a female race. There's only one male Exion, and then everybody other Exion after that is female. Female, but that's besides the point. RK9, he continues his training under Katie. Now, Katie was way more powerful than he was. Like, this girl was as powerful as, like, Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. Like, she was as powerful as him, except, she was in base form, He's not like, oh, he's as powerful as this guy in like, Super Saiyan or whatever. So RK9 decides to do training with her, and by the time he's turned 9, he is more powerful than Goku and even true Master Instinct. Like, this guy has gotten this powerful this fast, and it's not even, the story's not even over yet. So once he reaches this, he's gotten the strength and speed, and his durability has now increased. Now, of course, RK9, in his head, he kind of figured that maybe he could go to different universes, but he also had to be prepared for that. He knew that there are characters out there that might try to erase him or something along those lines. So RK9 actually took the time to get stronger. And not only that, he found a fruit that protects his soul. That protects RK9's soul when he ate it. When he took a bite out of it, rather. And this fruit was called the Fruit of Protection. And apparently, RK9's soul is now protected, meaning that even if something were to strike at it, try to erase it, try to get rid of it, nothing would work. Like, it would be impossible. And RK9 can survive, like, being erased out of existence. He can survive, like, his whole universe could be erased and he would be fine. He could survive black holes at this point. And it was just insane. And it's just crazy. So, naturally, since he can now survive all this, he can now go ahead and try and learn from different universes how to be powerful. And whatnot. So the very first place he decides to go to is actually the Friday Night Funkin' universe. Yeah. Yeah, which means you know what that means. RK9 is about to become a rapper. Now, of course, RK9 is not more powerful than BF, because, BF kind of beats everything. Beats everything that pretty much comes his way. But RK9 can win against, like, most of the other FNF characters, including people like Shaggy. Like Shaggy, in this story time of this character, RK9 has faced off against Shaggy even at full power, and RK9 was able to overcome it. RK9's endurance, speed, agility, pretty much everything has increased at this point. The only real character that he would have a hard time winning against is Boyfriend, because, well, let's face it, Boyfriend kind of, RK9 kind of slams, pretty much. So at this point, RK9, he has learned how to rap, but he actually learned how to rap while also using his powers to hurt his opponent. To hurt whoever he's fighting. Now, he's fighting, meaning that he can rap and fight at the same time. Now, RK9, he has began to gather skills that most characters just don't begin to get until they, like, done. Now, of course, he knew that he wasn't strong enough like this either. Like, sure, he can survive being erased out of existence or whatever, right? So, he decides to go to the next universe, which is Demon Slayer. Now, in the Demon Slayer universe, apparently Tanjiro, he was, he kind of is still upset because he left his family for a few minutes, he came back, and then his whole family was slaughtered. Like, every one of his family members was pretty much dead, and RK9, when he showed up, in this story time at least, not in the actual canon stuff, well, until I make an anime with RK9 in it, then it'll become canon. It'll be like a canon thing that happens, including if I can get the permission in order to make something like that. But anyways, in order to make something like that. If I make anyone mad, I'm sorry. RK9, he travels to this universe, right? And he sees that, and in Tanjiro's eyes, he can tell that, his family is dead, whatever. He actually, can learn the whole backstory by just reading his mind. Like, he can go, like, he's gotten so strong that he can literally get the backstory of a character by just, like, reading their mind, whatever, he can figure out what they're all, and he can figure out what these characters are all about, but still, even so that he, and and RK9, like I said, he's fought many different opponents from pretty much multiple universes. Now, of course, this is not easily his best feat. Now, his best feat. This is only the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet. So if you're excited for the good stuff, just hang around and sit around. All right, just try to hang out, and you'll see. Anyways, he goes to Tanjiro's universe, the Demon Slayer universe, and he does run into Tanjiro, and Tanjiro, thinking he's a demon because he has like powers or whatever. RK9 begins to explain that I'm not a demon. I'm not even from here. But obviously since Tanjiro does not really have power, well Tanjiro may have powers. I don't know. Tanjiro, since he does not have power, then again he may have powers. I don't even know. I don't even know. He didn't. But here's the thing. RK9 at this point is way more power. But regardless, RK9 is way more powerful than Tanjiro is, because of all the training he's done and all that type of stuff. And RK9, yes, I said Katie was as powerful as Goku in Mastered Ultra Instinct, but because of RK9 genetic makeup, he was able to keep up with it despite him being weaker. Despite him being weaker at the time, but afterwards he became way stronger. Though this is not enough to beat the Reincarnation Warrior, but just bear with me, all right? So Tanjiro, he's strong, whatever. Like he put up a good fight, but Tanjiro's not able to do it. He's just Tanjiro. He didn't really want to kill the guy, so he did use enough power where he can defend himself, but he didn't use enough power to kill the guy. So he didn't use enough power, and Tanjiro gets really confused when he wakes up and he's not dead. He's not dead. So Tanjiro asks, "Why didn't you kill me? You had the chance to." And RK9 explains, "Well, I'm not a demon. I'm not like gonna kill you because you attacked me. I'm not gonna do that. Like that's just wrong in me. Wrong of me. Plus, look at my skin, bro. Like my skin is literally blue. What? You can't be serious. Like what are you saying? What are you saying?" So when he hears that, right? Tanjiro sees that he kind of has a point. Like demons usually have like red skin or something like that, or like purple skin or whatever. And like, if you're a succubus, but he sees RK9's point. He's like, "Okay, well, I'm sorry for attacking you." And RK9's like, "No, it's cool, bro. It's fine." Because RK9 kind of can tell why he confused him for a demon. Despite his color, the color of his skin being different. But RK9 explains like I'm from a different universe. I'm from a different planet. Even I'm not from Earth. I was born from my mom that's from a different planet, but I'm not. I was born from a different planet. I was born from my mom that lived on a different planet, but I was born on Earth. And Tanjiro was like, "Oh, that makes." And Tanjiro, not seeing how that makes any sense, he doesn't really know how to respond to that. So he just kind of he's like, "Oh, okay, well, that's fine." Wait, was your mom a demon? It's like, no. He explains that his mom was not from Earth, but was not from Earth. She lived on a different planet, right? So, it explains a lot of things. But RK9 finally, after so long, he even, he brings back Tanjiro's family from taking some of Tanjiro's own blood. Like he grabbed a needle. He took some of our Tanjiro's own blood. He did it with permission, of course. He didn't just do it because he's still Tanjiro's still human, and needles can hurt very badly, especially if you use it without permission. And he explains like, "Nah, it's okay. Like I know how to use a needle. It's not like I know how to use like a needle to gain blood. Like it's not like it's a huge issue or anything. And Tanjiro was confused. He was like, why? Why would you need my blood? And he was like, you just trust me. So Tanjiro trusts him, and he gets some of Tanjiro's blood, and he actually runs some tests. Like he runs some tests and whatever. And RK9 eventually was able to bring Tanjiro's family back. Like he was able to bring him back without the power, and also he was able to bring him back without the power of the Dragon Balls or anything like that. He actually put him back with some machines that he personally built. Like RK9 built this, and he was able to bring the Tanjiro's family back, like his mom, his dad, his brother, aunt, whatever. And Tanjiro did learn from last time, so he is way more observant now. He is way more observant now in this story. But anyway, even though in the canon version, Tanjiro's family is still dead, but in this version, but in my story, Tanjiro's family ended up living. So that actually proves very good. That actually proves very good for IQ. Now the next thing I want to tell you is that he goes to the Dragon Ball Z, to the Dragon Ball universe. Finally, this is where I would talk about like Goku and stuff like that. So and stuff like that. So he decides, that he's gonna go ahead and see what his universe had to offer. But what I didn't mention is that he did train with Tanjiro, he trained with Nezuko, he trained with pretty much everybody in this universe, and defeated some villains from there, and defeated some demons from there. He did his part. But after defeating some demons, RK9 did leave, going on to the next universe to try and find ways to make himself more powerful. And then he goes to the Dragon Ball Z universe. Now, Dragon Ball Z universe is where you can get the big money. This is where you can actually become somewhat powerful, because I know so much about this universe. So, what he first does is that RK9 decides to go to, notices that he's in the present time. So, to get the full idea of what and he overhears like stuff like Super Saiyan and stuff like that, and RK9 doesn't know what that is. So he decides to go back and actually learn about Saiyans. Like he actually did this. He decides to go back in time, and before that he goes back in time to the point where he goes back in time in like a time machine or whatever, and he lands on planet Vegeta. This is like days and days before Frieza decides to blow up planet Vegeta or whatever. Like he made sure that in case something was gonna happen, in case the planet was gonna get blown up, he made sure that he had enough time to do what he was planning, what he wanted to do. He wanted to learn about Saiyans anyway, so he decides to go back way back when Saiyans were still a thing, like planet Vegeta was still a thing. So he's surrounded by Saiyans at this point, and RK9 walks up to Bardock. Now Bardock, as we all know, Bardock's not that strong, but like I said, RK9 is willing to give him a fair shot. He's willing to make it a fair fight. He's not gonna use full power right away and just knock someone out. That's not what he's about. Though he is pretty powerful. So RK9, he walks up to Bardock and asks just for a needle of blood. Like he just asks for it, and he's like, "Look, it'll be quick. You don't have to worry about it." And he does get Bardock to kind of agree to this type of thing. And RK9 decides, you know what? I'm also gonna save the planet because you decided to help me. So he found a way to make to turn this sample of blood and make it into his genetic makeup, so he could have Saiyan powers. and actually learn about Saiyans more efficiently by basically becoming a Saiyan. Even though that he's not exactly a Saiyan, he just has the Saiyan powers, meaning that he can use Ki, he can turn Super Saiyan, all this stuff, and still, he's still an Exion, but he has not now Saiyan powers, and he can use Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 and all that stuff. So now he has a way to increase his power even more now, which is just insane. Which is just crazy. So basically now he can transform. He can transform into a Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, all that stuff. And but he's still an Exion. Like keep in mind, he's still an Exion. So now RK9 is doing this, and at this time, RK9 was starting to become a teenager. He's starting to grow up. He's starting to grow up a little bit. So when the time comes of RK9, of when he was about to destroy Planet Vegeta, RK9 at this point has convinced every single Saiyan that being evil is just not worth it anymore. Like, he convinced them, like, having peace can actually make you stronger than whatever. Can make it easier for you to get stronger and more powerful, whatever, than taking over planets and stuff. And he even convinced King Vegeta, which King Vegeta was entirely ruthless, but RK9 managed to do it. So now every Saiyan is not, evil or whatever, and Goku on top of all of that, he actually gets to meet his parents in this universe, which is, thank God, bro. Like, I'm sorry, like, in the actual show, I've been just thinking, like, what was Gene A like? Like, what was all that? And in this story, in this future anime, Goku finally gets to realize, he gets to meet his parents and gets to become a good person, all in the same way. So when Goku grows up, he didn't. The only real difference is that he wasn't raised by Grandpa Gohan, and not in this universe at least, and he wasn't. And he didn't hit his head as a baby. Like that. Those are only two things that did not happen. Did not happen in this universe. Everything else after that was exactly the same. Like, he still became a good person. He still learned martial arts, and he still learned how to, he turned Super Saiyan, whatever. But yeah, RK9, he saves Planet Vegeta and go back to the present time, and this present time was way different than when present time was way different. Now, of course, he heard about Trunks' future. Now, and I'm talking about like future Trunks from the Android saga. So he decides that the best way to deal with this is to go way back, way before like the fight with the androids or whatever, and he decides to save Goku. Now, how does he decide to save Goku? Now, RK9, he gets the information from Trunks. Like, this is because, in his universe, he had to fight the androids by himself, and it was just really sad, like, to see. Like, it was an awesome fight, but it was just sad to see, like, all the Z fighters were just gone, and there was no way to bring him back. Well, unless, he was going to go to Planet Namek, but he didn't know there was a Planet Namek to begin with. Man, that was really, really good chicken. But anyways, Yeah, he saves Planet Vegeta. He convinces the Saiyans not to be evil anymore, so none of the Saiyans are evil. Well, none of them other than oh my god. Well, none of them other than not well, almost none of them other than Nappa. You know, Nappa was still pretty darn evil, and so was Vegeta. Um, he and so was Vegeta. Everybody else was good, but then there was a Vegeta. But then there was Vegeta and Nappa. So yeah. Um, Anyways, after he went back to the future after saving all the Saiyans and convincing them to be good, he then goes back to the future and he learns about Trunks' future. Now Trunks' future was just pretty darn sad, man. Like every single Z fighter was dead. Goku died from a heart virus, and RK9's like, no, I'm not about to let that happen. So RK9 decides to go to Trunks' universe, go way, way back, like way back before, and then he rewinds time. Like he goes way, way back before the androids were even a thing, before the androids showed up, and when it got time to show for the androids to show up, RK9 quickly and effectively saves Goku. Like he goes ahead and just is like, look, you're gonna get better, everything's gonna be okay, and he gets the medicine that Goku needs and all that stuff, and he changes the future as well. So not only did he change the past, he also changed the future. You know, he had to change the future because the future was just too sad.
Who are you? What?
What?
I don't want them to see.
Anyways, RK9, after RK9, like I said, he convinces every other Saiyan to be good. Like Fasha was good, Bardock was good, Shurgosh, almost every other Saiyan was good except for like Saiyans like maybe Nappa and Nappa, Vegeta, and maybe Broly. Those were the only three that turned out bad in this universe. Everybody else was fine. Everybody else was like the alternative. Everybody else became good, everybody else was on RK9's side, except for Vegeta, Nappa, and Broly. Which Broly, he wasn't on. Well, actually, at the same time, actually, after RK9 saved Planet Vegeta, Broly did become good. Like he did, grow up having good-hearted parents after meeting RK9, and he grew up fine. Like he was great, and RK9, like everybody else was good. Like the planet was saved and all that stuff, and RK9 was willing to save the planet, or whatever. And in the future, he realizes that everything else changed for the better. Like Goku's a whole lot stronger now. He's able to take on Beerus without much of an issue. Goku gets to hang out with his family, his friends. Like he gets to hang out with everybody. He has so much free time on his hands. Like Chi-Chi doesn't really give him a problem. It doesn't really give him a problem, Like she doesn't really give him like, oh, you can't fight, which in this alternate future, fighting was making her money, So she was like, hey, you know what? You keep fighting. It's fine. It's fine. Like not only is he benefiting from it because Goku's defending the Earth or whatever, but also Goku is now. But also because of this. There's many Super Saiyan 3s now. Some of them are becoming stronger. Some of them a lot of them actually just got their tail cut off, because who wants to keep that? I mean, after you learned how to go Super Saiyan, the the ape thing at that point is pretty much useless. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Turn into a giant ape and try and fight me? Yeah, that's not gonna work. Anyways, like I said, there's many Super Saiyan 3s now. There's Super Saiyans running around because of this. And Frieza is more peeved off than ever because RK9 was, strong enough to stop him without much of an issue. So RK9 is easily able to beat Frieza without much of an issue. Even at final form, he was no match for RK9. So GG's to that. RK9 is also extremely strong and will be able to fight tons of opponents. He was playing, but also RK9 heard about Trunks' future. Now, of course, since this is affecting the future here, he'd have to go back to the present time that is the future after changing the past of the future, which doesn't make any sense. But here's the thing: he goes back way back to when all the Z Fighters actually were alive. Like they were alive, they were well, they were doing fine, and then when Goku starts to have the heart virus, he actually has the medicine. Goku, he actually has the medicine to automatically cure Goku. Like unlike in the series, Goku had he had to sit around for a while and deal with that type of problem. He had to go around and fight. Like he had to go around and basically go ahead and fight him. He had to fight. So and he had to go around and for over half a season trying to get better. Well, RK9, he got a formula correct, and it healed him up in an instant. Like the whole heart thing was over. Goku didn't need to sit around for over half a season. RK9 was Goku was fine. Goku was fine. Now, of course, RK9 he goes up against the androids, and he goes up against both 17 and 18. And like I said, he doesn't use enough strength to kill them. Like at this point, RK9 has way more than enough strength to fight both the androids. Like he has more than enough strength to do this. He could do this without much of an issue here. So without much of an issue here, he just doesn't want to kill the two androids. So he decides that he's gonna fight at only 30% of his strength. 30% of his strength. At this point, at least, sure, it'll be a fair fight, but at this point, he's not. But even if it's a fair fight, it's not like they're strong enough to make him lose an arm or anything like that. And of course, they try some of the stuff that they tried on Future Gohan, except it was on RK9 this time. So, except it was on RK9 this time, they tried some of the same tactics. But RK9, he was able to withstand it. He was able to do enough to deal with it, so he just didn't care. He just didn't care all that much. And he did defeat the androids. He did defeat the androids without killing them, but Trunks wanted them dead. Even though the Trunks wanted them dead, RK9 was like, no, dude. I understand that you want them dead. You understand you think they're dangerous. But RK9 could see through the anger of both Android 17 and 18, or maybe he could see through the misunderstanding of why RK9, and he thinks that RK9 is like, look, I don't want to kill you two. Okay, you guys don't have to do this. I'm not gonna kill you. This is not right for me. Because he could feel that even though that they were quote unquote evil, something was off. Something was nah, they're evil for a reason. Most of them are they're evil because Dr. Gero created them, but no, him creating them was part of it, but there was more to it. Goku was not dead at this point, so. At this point, remember, it was now. It's it was in the present before then. So Goku, at this point, he was not dead. The androids saw that, and their original mission, was to kill Goku. That's what they wanted to do. That's what they wanted to do. But RK9 was not going to let them do that. do that because if they kill Goku, then it's just gonna turn back into the same thing that it was before. So Goku, so RK9 is like, if you want to kill Goku, you're gonna have to go through me, which for how powerful Goku RK9 was at this point, it was pretty much impossible. Like if he decides to turn Super Saiyan at this point, RK9 could whoop both Android 17 and 18. And when I say whoop, I don't really mean like beat up. Like he will literally start whooping both of them, both of them. Like that's how powerful he was. I'm gonna pause the video for a second. Hang on. Anyways, I'm back, and as you can see, this looks a little bit different. I have my phone with me, which I don't really need it, but it's there, so whatever. And what I'm gonna say is that RK9 at this point, he has more than enough strength. Like I said, RK9 has more than enough strength to fight with like true Ultra Instinct Goku at this point. So he has more than enough strength to fight the androids, and fighting the androids wouldn't really take much effort for him, so he doesn't really care. Now, of course, this isn't strong enough either, right? So but like I said, we're on the tip of the iceberg here. Like this is the tip of the iceberg. This isn't like even his best feat, yet. So RK9 decides to go ahead. He decides to fight with the androids, and he doesn't use enough firepower to kill them, but he does use enough firepower where he can keep them down. Like he can, like, keep them at a point where they can't do anything, but he can do a lot of damage, and it was just a bad situation for the androids. And Trunks could tell that he has enough that RK9 has enough power to defeat the androids, but he doesn't. But he isn't doing it for a reason. So Trunks starts trying to talk to RK9, right? He starts feeling like, why aren't you killing the androids? Like, these guys have killed tons of innocents and stuff like that. And RK9, even despite knowing this, RK9's like, because there's something more. There's something more to these androids than you can understand. And Trunks obviously looks at him confused because he's like, what do you mean? These two are a menace to society. Like, these two can destroy the planet. And RK9's like, nah, they can't. Not as long as I'm around. So RK9's like, nah, they're not destroying any planets, bro. They're not going to cause any more terror. But there's more to these androids than meets the eye. Like, there's something going on, man. There's something going on, man. And Trunks, he kind of has a hard time believing that because, him and androids. So RK9 has to kind of prove this to him. So he decides that. So he says this. Let's put up a test then. Let's see what happens if I can defeat them enough times, and actually try to reason with them. And Trunks is like, you can and Trunks, he's very much against this. But RK9's like, listen, things will go well, I promise. And Trunks takes a moment. Like, he takes a moment to think about it, because RK9, well, the way RK9 worded it way different than me. He did. Like, I'm not even gonna lie about that. He worded it way more different than me. Like, way more different. Like, he Frick, why? Was that like sitting on my cheek literally the entire time? Anyways, RK9, like I said, this is the tip of the iceberg. This is not even like begins to explain RK9's full potential or anything like that. This isn't like RK9's full power. This is the tip of the iceberg. This is like from him training for like maybe like till teenage years. Like, he was training for about like maybe like maybe like 3 years, and he became this powerful. And RK9, despite him being weaker, he's this strength now. So RK9 is gonna get strong, and RK9 is only going to get stronger. Like, he's going to get stronger from this. So RK9, he decides that and he decides to walk up to the androids and literally just be like, listen, I I don't know what's going on with you. I really don't. But I want you to know that I'm here for you. And when the androids hear this, they kind of look at him confused, and they realize that he has sympathy for others, including his enemies. His enemies. Now, of course, Trunks thought they were going to exploit this, but Trunks does see a little bit of a difference. Is that the androids, they actually start crying, he's like, listen, I know you guys are androids, but I'm not gonna just kill you guys. Like, I have no reason to. Trunks might, but I don't. So I'll hand. And I get it. I understand that you guys, have a lot of things going on in your heads, but this is not what this is. And of course, RK9 did not know that these two androids were just pure evil. If he knew that, he would have blew them away a while ago. But instead, he's trying to wear the. But here's the thing: the best thing that RK9 did in the first fight was just wear these two androids down. Like, he just wore them down. He like, despite their energy supposed to be going forever, he wore them down to the point where they were actually tired. Like, they were tired. They were tired of fight. They were tired and were not fast enough to keep up with RK9. Now RK9, his sympathy for people actually somewhat brought an effect on both 18 and 17, because after a while, like I said, our androids started crying. They started being like, wait a minute, this guy actually cares about us. Like, they took the moment to look around and be like, this guy's actually serious. This guy's being ridiculous, for real. And for some reason, they after being hit with sympathy like that, they stopped everything they were doing. They stopped destroying the city. They stopped all their terrorizing. They did all that, and they said that as long as we get to live with RK9, it's fine. And RK9 was just okay with it. So RK9 was just like, yeah, whatever. You guys can live with me. Can live with me if you guys really want to. Well, actually, you guys can't live with me, but I will, visit. Like, I will visit every now and then, and whatever. And this changes everything. This changes the whole thing. So then, later on, of course, there's Cell. Now, Cell is quite the annoyance, right? He's kind of annoying. Kind of annoying. Well, at least to RK9. To any other Z fighter, he would be a problem. But to RK9, he's annoying, but he's not like at that point where he's just kind of like straight up annoying. Like, he's not at that point where he's like, nah, I'm just the most annoying person on the planet. Like, no. But for RK9, he's like, Cell's annoying, but not really an issue. Not really an issue, right? So RK9, after finding out about Cell, he warns the androids. He's like, go hide, go get out of here. Like, I don't want you guys to be absorbed. None of that. Like, RK9 would have been like, nah, it's not really one of those things. Like, I don't want you guys to die. So, you guys to get absorbed or die. So, RK9 is like, nah, it's okay, it's fine. It's one of those things that RK9 does, and RK9 is like, yeah, sorry about that. And RK9 is extremely powerful, whatever. So RK9, while the androids actually listen to him and they actually get out of there, they leave. They don't even stay around for very long. They leave, and RK9 decides to go off and go deal with Cell. And Trunks, now knowing that his future is now safe, like, he stopped the destruction and everything, but and also all the Z fighters are alive. So this changed everything. The only real thing is that he's got to go fight Cell. Like, if he goes, like, if he doesn't, like, and he's not, and I'm not talking about, like, oh, just wear him down a little bit. No, I'm talking about he has to go fight Cell. Like, he has to go fight him and defeat him. Otherwise, it's just, the past is just going to repeat itself. So, RK9, once he goes into battle with Cell, he uses 50% of his strength. It was a little bit of a struggle for RK9 just to use 50%, but RK9 did beat Cell. Like, Cell is gone now. Cell is not no more. And of course, RK9 waited until Cell was in his, like, first form because he actually wanted a fight. Wanted to see what what Cell in his first form would be like. Like, he was like, yeah, I wonder what he would be like. So, excuse me, where did that beep come from? Oh my. Anyways, RK9, he goes into battle with Cell, and he wins. Like, he didn't even bother him. He didn't care. He wins, and the future is safe. So when he goes back into the present of the original future, everything's changed. Like the flowers were blooming. Goku was still alive. Goku was still doing his thing. So now both the past and the future of the Dragon Ball Z of the Dragon Ball Z universe in this story was saved, right? So now he moves on to a universe where there are starting to become some pretty powerful fighters. He moves on to the universe of not One Piece, but he moves on to the universe of where he can learn some, like, very, very fun skills. Like, they weren't gonna be useful in battle. Like, he didn't think they were gonna be useful in battle to him, but he might as well learn everything he can. He moves on to the Yu-Gi-Oh universe. Now, the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, he understands that there aren't characters that aren't people that are, like, super duper powerful. Like, they can't fight with Goku or anything like that. But before he moved on to the universe, there's one more thing that he did in the Dragon Ball Z universe, and that is RK9 actually fought with Black Frieza. Now, Black Frieza, as we all know, Black Frieza is one of the most powerful forms of Frieza, and he was able to fight Ultra Instinct and Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta without really much of an issue. Now, RK9, when Vegeta, Frieza sees RK9, he starts speaking all this stuff like, "Oh, I'm the most powerful being in the universe," blah 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 blah, and unknowingly, Black Frieza does not know that RK9 has way more power, like way more power than true Ultra Instinct Goku. True Ultra Instinct Goku, not even Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. Like, he has way more power than any form that Goku even has. So RK9, it has way more than enough power to defeat Black Frieza, and the thing is that he decides to use Kaioken. He decides to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna use Kaioken. I don't have time for this. So RK9 decides to use Kaioken for a little bit, and how he knows how to use it is because he saw Goku use it. So it wasn't really that hard for him to figure out, and everything. But yeah, he decides to use Kaioken. And RK9 with Kaioken was more than enough to beat Black Frieza. So Black Frieza's out of fight, and RK9 doesn't even bother to kill Black Frieza. He doesn't care, and he does go back to base form. Like, he does go back to, like, his base form or final form, whatever the case may be. He goes back to final form. So RK9, he leaves after that fight, and now he moves on to the Yu-Gi-Oh universe. Now, of course, he knows that the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, there's not really much there that he can do, but he might as well learn. He heard about this interesting card game, so he was like, might as well use it. Like, I might as well learn it. Like, I don't know if I'll ever need it, but it's something to consider. But so yeah, he decides to go to the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, and in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, he meets Yugi, Yusei, Jaden. He meets Yuya, Kite, he meets like the Yuma. He meets literally almost every single Yu-Gi-Oh main Yu-Gi-Oh main character, and of course all the characters that come after it. Like he met Joey Wheeler. He met Bronk, Taya, freaking Joey, Tristan. Like he met everybody, both good and bad guys. He met like and plus RK9. He's willing to face opponents in weight. And here's the thing, RK9. When he met Pegasus, Pegasus. He introduced himself as the creator of Duel Monsters. And RK9, not knowing what Duel Monsters is at this time, he's like, what is Duel Monsters? And when he hears that, and when Pegasus hears that, he does giggle a little bit, but then he realizes that RK9 is serious. Like, he does not know what Duel Monsters is, but he can tell that he's very interested. So, Pegasus explains what Duel Monsters is. Like, you have to use your deck to be able to deplete your opponent's life points and stuff like that, and stuff like that. And RK9 kind of takes notes. He learns how to use the dual disc. He learns how to synchro summon, all this stuff in like a shorter period of time, about like 20 minutes. It took him like 20 minutes to learn the entire game. Like how to pendulum summon, all that. And RK9 is like, well, I don't know if I'll. And RK9 in his head is like, well, I don't know if I'll ever need the skills of this, but it's a good thing to consider. Like, I don't know if anyone's outside of this universe is ever gonna ask to duel me, or like ask what Duel Monsters is. But at least if they if they're interested and they want to know, I can at least tell them. So, and of course RK9 kind of figured that I'm probably not gonna need this, but I might as well keep it handy. And RK9 moves on to a universe where there's Zeus. And of course, this is the God of War universe, meaning Kratos, Zeus, Athena. All these characters are now in front of him, so are now opposed to him. And RK9, he walks around this universe for a second, right? He appears in this like battle formation, and when he appears, it's about it's the time when Kratos was actually very weak. Like, he was very weak, and he's about to face off against Zeus after fighting this giant golden statue-based thing. And RK9's not about to let Kratos die. Like, he's not about to do that. So RK9, he intervenes with the fight. And fights with Zeus. He's like, look, and Kratos is like, what are you doing? This is my opponent. And RK9 is like, look, man, you need to chill out. Like, you need to go ahead. You need to go, just chill out for a second. He needs to go ahead and, he needs to go ahead, just go on and chill out for a second, okay? You need to chill out with this. So, RK9, at this point, he is telling Kratos, the God of War, that he is too weak to fight. Like, like me, I will bide you time to recover, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't want you to die, man. Because he was on the verge of death. Like, he was on the verge of death, and RK9 could see that from a mile away. And RK9's not about to let, Kratos die because he wants revenge. So he decides, look, I'll fight with Zeus, it's fine. And RK9, he beats the living crap out of Zeus. Because here's the thing, almost every fight that he gets into triples his health, his like durability, his speed, his strength, and also because of this, his base form being stronger than even True Ultra Instinct Goku, he turned Super Saiyan. So he's now stronger than so now he's like 50 times stronger than what he was before. And RK9, like I said, he's good at controlling his strength, because at this point, not only can he destroy the entire multiverse, he could destroy pretty much more than that. So RK9, he uses just enough power to fight with Zeus and destroy him. Like, he doesn't use enough power to kill him. Like, RK9 had more than enough power to kill him, but he knew that Kratos was the one. Kratos was the one who wanted to kill him. So RK9 was like, yeah, I'm gonna fight alongside you if we're gonna do this. So, and Kratos looks over and he actually smiles because he's actually great, because for the first time ever, Kratos is actually grateful for someone else's help, because for how weak he is. He is in this moment. And RK9, he is destroying Zeus in Super Saiyan mode. So RK9, he he destroys Zeus, and Kratos ends up killing Zeus. And RK9 is like, well, I hope that helped you out with your problem. And RK9 sees him walking to the edge of something, and he figures that he's going to try and kill himself. And RK9 is not about to let that happen. And RK9, once again, is not about to let that happen. You know, he's not about to be like, oh, go ahead, go kill yourself. Like, no, he's not about to let that happen. He's like, no, what are you doing? Like, RK9, he is a master negotiator. Like, he is an incredible, like, he's an expert at negotiating people and negotiating people not to take their own lives or whatever. Like, he has stopped, like, in his universe, he has stopped countless suicides by just negotiating with people by just negotiating with someone who is suicidal. Like, not even a while. Like, it didn't even, like, he has stopped countless suicidal people from killing themselves. Like, he's done all that stuff. And RK9, once again, has saved someone's life. And he also changes and also RK9 brings back Kratos' family that Kratos killed. And Kratos is very grateful for that. That kind of changes Kratos' life. Because RK9 pretty much did the impossible, and he was the opposite. And Kratos also learned that he was the opposite of the gods that he was fighting. Like, he was the complete and utter opposite of the gods he was fighting. And he also noticed that Zeus did not come back after he was defeated by RK9. He didn't come back. Like, he was just gone. So now and also because of this, Kratos decides to thank him by training him. He decides to train with Kratos. And Kratos, he teaches RK9 all of his, like, fighting styles. He teaches him how to use the swords of Athena and all that stuff. And he teaches him that, and now he's even stronger than what he was before. Like, he's stronger than his past self. And RK9, by the time that he's an adult, that's how long that they've been training, by the way. Like, they trained until he was an adult. He was an adult. So he trained for like 20 plus years. 20 plus years. And RK9, and before RK9 left the God of War universe, the God of War did reclaim his immortality. So he gives RK9 the potion of youth, meaning he has to think of a year that he was, and and then he can go back to that year, but then he is stuck like that. But then he is stuck with that body forever. However, he still keeps all his skills. He still keeps all his fighting power. So it's like and of course RK9 is going to accept that, because then he can become infinite. He can become more and more powerful by training with more and more people. So RK9 thanks him for this, and he goes back to the time where he was 12. So now he has his 12-year-old body, even though that he has at this point a 30 plus fighting experience, and he continues this. So RK9 at this point, he is extremely powerful. He is extremely strong, and RK9 also has abilities that can erase people's souls. Can erase people's souls pretty much, and make sure that they don't die. And also, finally, RK9 returns to his own universe with all this new and improved power. And he travels back to Earth. RK9, throughout his travels, actually learned that he can breathe in space, so he doesn't really need a space helmet or anything like that. He could just fly to Earth. And since he's now extremely fast and strong, the zombies don't really affect him. He found a way to not die from a zombie apocalypse. He even created a formula for a serum that makes him immune to the whole zombie transformation type of thing. So RK9 is immune to the zombie transformation. He's immune to like becoming a zombie or whatever. And RK9 has, at this point, has taken out armies of zombies. And now his new goal is to reverse the end of the world. His new goal now is to reverse the end of the world. He is going to use all this power to reverse the end of the world and actually save it. And he did do that because of his new improved strength. It was no big deal. It wasn't hard. So it wasn't hard. And he goes back in time to the first zombie. Like back when the first zombie struck and his mom was still alive. And he killed the first zombie, stopping the zombie apocalypse altogether. So that's how powerful RK9 is. And RK9 also at this... And RK9 simply would just erase the soul of the reincarnation warrior, and just he wouldn't care. Like RK9 would have just erased the soul of the incarnation warrior. At least that's what I think. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Who do you guys think would win after the new and improved story that you guys were given? Who do you guys think would win this fight? RK9 or the Warriors? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in another video. Stay alive, my survivors.